Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the government's Build, Build, Build infrastructure program.
There were some projects in that list that after the feasibility studies, they were found out to be not yet feasible now.
A failure or success?
Sad to say, the Build, Build, Build program of this administration is a dismal failure.
And totoo yun. I mean, there's no debate. That's why we all have to come together and work on this.
The influx of imported rice.
If this will carry over for 1 or 2 seasons, you will have a significant movement out of rice farming, and increased poverty among rice farmers.
The president's health.
The president is his own man. He determines whether he's in good shape or not.
And Vice President Leni Robredo as anti-drug czar. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. The Duterte administration revises its list of its build infrastructure projects. Economic managers say listed flagship projects were changed because some are, quote, not feasible, while more important projects need to be prioritized halfway through the president's term. Also, Vice President Leni Robredo hits the ground running as she takes on her role as anti-drug czar. Or is she all talk, as House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano claims? Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo. Secretary, good to see you again. Welcome to the show as usual. Let's talk about Vice President Robredo being the anti-drug czar. She wants an increase in the budget of the ICAD. Is that possible?
Not in this budget, because that has been already prepared in the previous year. Kailangan niya siguro Kongreso.
So, if she appeals as secretary, dumiretso na siya sa mga congressmen and senators?
Oo, kasi gawa na yung budget for this year. Ginawa pa last year yun.
And if there are possible realignments, sir, that would have to come from both houses of Congress?
Yeah.
Kasi right now, pinasa na ng House sa Senado yung
Nga
budget.
po naman yata yung mga ibang senador sa kongresista sa kanya.
Since she took on the job, what's your assessment so far? What are your thoughts on her being the anti-drug czar? It's been more than a week,
ko sa inyo at saka sa lahat, masyado kayo nagmamadali. Nakauupo lang nung ali. Give her the chance. Let her perform her job. Saka na tayo mag-assess.
When is a good time to assess, sir? True, it could be too
6
early,
days
no?
pa lang. Siyempre, titingnan mo muna ang sitwasyon, kung anong gagawin mo. Tama yung ginagawa niya.
You agree,
Of course. Kung ikaw nandun, anong gagawin mo? Siyempre, you have to know the situation first. Kung kailangan, ma-meeting muna lahat ng mga tao doon. Tapos, hihingi ka ng mga advice sa mga ibang expert. O saka ka ngayon gumawa ng sarili mo scheme.
Yeah.
Ganun, tama yun.
So, yung sinabi po ginagawa ni Vice President that she's meeting with the FBI, members of the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Agency, obviously of the United States, and officials of the UN Office on Drugs and Crime. You obviously agree with that, sir?
Yes, because talaga namang merong coordination between this government and the American government with respect to that. She has to be informed. She has to inform herself. Paano siya gagawa kung hindi mo alam ang nangyayari?
Yung po bang palagay nyo, yung pagpasok niya, you see pictures like this because lately, hindi na masyadong nagbibigay ng statements masyado, no? Si Vice President, and you have US officials, you have UN officials. Do you think that is that giving new life to the government's war on drugs? Is that, maganda ho ba yun? Does it paint a good picture?
Yung war on drugs, continuing yon at successful yon. But since the VP said na para sa kanya, ineffective, and then sabi niya, let's try different tacks. Okay, sabi ni Presidente, baka meron kang mas maganda. Di sige, this is your chance. Yun.
I want to put in the meeting, the statement of the U.S. Embassy. Sabi po nila, well, of course, they showed up upon the request of Vice President Leni Robredo. So, as I mentioned a while ago, you have officers of the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Agency, nandiyan din po yung Department of State and U.S. Agency for International Development. What do you think, sir, can possibly happen from meetings like this? Moving forward, what can they give? What kind of partnership? Do you see a stronger partnership between us and them?
As I said earlier, educational yun eh. She doesn't know anything about it. So that is the right step. Knowing what are the facts. Ano bang usapan nyo? Ano bang ginagawa nyo? Eh kung ikaw nga naman eh, paano ka gagalaw kung di mo alam ang situation in your turf?
Do you believe, as Secretary, na marami pong maitutulong si Vice President Leni Robredo? Because if you look at the ICAD, there are 4 clusters, law enforcement, justice, rehabilitation, etc., sir. Where is she best suited, for example, dun sa mga clusters under the ICAD?
Alam mo, lahat ng tao merong pwedeng itulong. Let us not underestimate or diminish the capability of any person. I'm sure meron siyang may tutulong doon. Yung mga clusters na yun, may kanya-kanya silang ideas on how to do it. Eh, baka si BP Leni meron din. Mas mabuti yung, di ba sabi nila, mas marami yung ulo, mas maganda.
Sabi po ni Speaker Alan Cayetano, from Oplan Tokhang, naging Oplan All Talk daw. Do you agree?
Yun ang opinion ni Secretary Alan. May
Speaker.
kanya-kanya tayong opinion eh. Now, Speaker. Kung yan ang kanyang pananaw, anong gagawa natin? Ako, ang pananaw ko naman, tama yung ginagawa niya.
All right. Okay. A number of things, sir. You have Phelim Kine, former Deputy Director of the Human Rights Watch, tweeting and basically saying that his bags are packed. He's ready to go to the Philippines. But if he had one suggestion, sabi niya, ito is to recommend the arrest of the president and those responsible for instigating this mass murder. First, sir.
Did you say he's ready to pack? He better unpack. He will not be allowed entry here. You know why? He has already reached a conclusion that this is a murderous country. Ano bang klase yan? He has no business coming here.
On what grounds would you say? Because I know that DFA Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin said he's not going to be allowed entry. I know that Secretary Salvador Panelo said DFA Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin is right. Kailangan ho ba may grounds na sabihin na hindi ka pwedeng pumasok dito?
And discretionary sa bawat bansa.
Yeah.
Kung ayaw natin ng isang tao pumasok sa atin, we have that absolute right.
You can refuse entry.
Privilege lang yung pagpunta mo eh.
Yeah. You can refuse entry to anybody.
Of course.
But, you know, you have Secretary Guevara not so keen or not so fast, rather, in saying that ay, hindi pwedeng papasukin si Phelim Kine. Sabi po niya, it would be prudent to comment, it would be not be prudent, rather, to comment unless we know the purpose and parameters of his visit.
O hindi ba, sinabi niya na nga yung purpose eh.
To help in the war on drugs.
Hindi lang to help, ipa-arresto mo yung presidente ninyo.
If I were to advise you.
Yun ang purpose niya. Oh, that's intruding into our sovereignty.
So for sure, hindi ho siya talaga makakapasok dito
kaya
sa...
mag-unpack na siya.
What about other investigators, sir?
Anong
Na
investigator?
pwedeng pumasok dito. Let's say members of the United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Agnes Calamard, yung mga those personalities, sir.
You know, Pinky, the problem with them is they have already prejudged the situation of this country. Kaya hindi po pwede silang pumunta rito. Kailangan, bago ka pumunta, open-minded ka, objective ka, hindi meron ka na kagad conclusions eh. Paano yun? Naging ka na, judge, jury, at the same time, tapos prosecute ka pa.
So who would not be allowed, sir? Who else will not be allowed entry to the Philippines?
Eh di yung mga taong meron na kagad na naunang paghatol sa di umanong pangyayari sa bansa na wala naman sila rito in the first place.
Such as? Who would you name?
O edi yung kung sino man yung mga nagsalita laban sa gobyerno na merong nangyayari ditong hindi para sa kanila tama with respect to so-called extrajudicial killings.
Okay, cabinet meeting. Will the vice president, sir, attend? And when we spoke upon her acceptance of the post, sabi
Yes.
mo, "Ay, pwede siya pumunta. Mamayang gabi, meron kaming cabinet meeting. I remember you told me that during a phone patch, sir. Pwede naman siya pumunta. However, Senator Bongo says she can only attend if there is an agenda on drugs, when there is talk
Yeah,
on
the
drugs.
president told me that.
Okay, what did
And
he
she
say?
should be happy. She should be happy kasi if you remember the cabinet, pag nandun ka, magtsatsaga ka rin hanggang madaling araw makikinig ka, hindi mo naman turf. Mas mabuti yung kung ang pag-uusapan yung sa teritoryo mo, nandun ka. Pero kung wala, maniwala ka, she should be thankful.
You said the president told you that also?
Yeah.
Anong sinabi sa'yo ni Presidente,
Sinabi
sir?
niya na, kasi sinabi ko, imbitahan mo. Oo, imbitahan ko basta tungkol sa kanyang drug operation.
As long as the agenda on
pero
drugs.
kung hindi naman kailangan. Sabi ko, ang swerte niya.
Sir, pero did he say when this would possibly be taken up, the agenda on drugs?
Hindi niya sinabi, but sinabi niya sa akin na I will invite her.
I'm sorry?
Sabi niya, I will invite her.
Okay. I just want to play this soundbite of Senator Bongo.
Pero sa pagkaalam ko, parang wala pa pong plano na ipapatawag at isasama sa gabinete. Maybe kung pag-uusapan na po yung droga, pero if wala naman po sa agenda, if nothing to do with drugs, ay hindi po.
So pareho kayo ni Senator Bongo. Sir, the question is, yung ganun din dun po ba yung aksyon sa ibang mga secretaries? Pag nasa agenda yung kanilang areas of expertise or job description, ay hindi sila imbitado? Or only the Vice President?
Hindi, ordinarily nga kasi hindi naman every time kailangan nandun. Dahil kung meron kang lakad, tinatanong ka naman Tinatanong ka, pwede ka ba rito on this particular day? Hindi ka pwede, sabihin mo. Pero maniwala ka, she should be thankful.
Yeah.
Mahirap ang she should know that.
Yeah, okay. So ando na po tayo. Again, she should be thankful. She doesn't have to sit through this cabinet
Yes.
meeting. Baka naman wala siya sa agenda. Again, but my question is, dun sa mga cabinet secretaries na wala sa agenda yung kanilang pag-uusapan, meron din hubang ganong order na pupunta lang sila kapag nasa agenda ang
Members of the
kanilang-
cabinet have the option to attend or not to attend.
Pero mahihiya ka naman ata kay Pangulo hindi mag-attend, no?
Hindi naman. Bakit? Kung meron kang mas mahalagang bagay na gagawin at hindi ka naman kailangan doon, ba't ka naman pupunta?
Who sets the agenda for the cabinet
Hindi
meeting?
yung cabinet secretary.
How do you guys know?
O di sinasabihan kami.
So are there
Hindi,
instances?
kasi you have to request
Tell us more about that. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to present anything, you want to discuss a subject, then you will request the cabinet secretary to put it in the agenda. Yun.
And then, who approves it?
Pwede yung cabinet secretary.
Aha.
Siya
po
mag-schedule.
Pero kanina po ipinapasa ng cabinet secretary?
Hindi, siya
agenda?
ang maglalabas ng i-release niya na ngayon kung ano ang agenda. Ordinarily, a day before or 2 days before. Pero yung mga nag-request, alam na nila, siyempre.
And they have to be ready. All right, we'll be taking a short break. We're going to talk about build programs. Is it a success or a failure? This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today is Secretary Salvador Panelo. Sir, build
Yes.
program of the Duterte administration. Senator Franklin Drilon calls it a dismal failure. In fact, he's saying it's premature, but at this point, it's a little bit slow.
Sabi ko nga sa statement ko, I admire his effrontery. Coming from
What
one...
is that word, sir?
Effrontery.
Okay.
Coming from one who is identified with the previous administration, who has zero accomplishment in infrastructure. Such chutzpah can only be matched by his ignorance. Ang dami-dami.
Do you write those?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, during the press briefing, binasa ko yung, it took me 10 minutes nga yung mga ginagawa. There are how many? 35 constructions ongoing. There are 32 that will be started within 6 and 8 months. And then there are 21 in the advanced stages of approval by the government. 22 yata yung feasibility. Tapos out of this, there will be 38 completed within the term of the president.
A total of, sabi po ni Secretary Dizon, 38 projects are ongoing. 32 commence construction.
Right.
21 are in the advanced stages of approval by the NEDA, and there are 38 ongoing projects expected to be finished by the end of the
Kaya ano yung
Duterte
sinasabi niyang
administration.
dismal failure?
Yeah,
Baka siya ang dismal failure as an opposition.
he is. You know, sir,
Oh, you said that.
no,
I agree.
Hindi. Mine was a question mark. You said, baka siya ang dismal failure. And I said, he is. Sir, you have Senator Kiko Pangilinan saying this. Let's listen. All right, I don't think that's available right now, but we'll wait for that as soon. Actually, what he was saying was, let me just say that, well, maliwanag na hindi yung totoo, yung sinabi niyo, Secretary, kaya nakakalungkot na ang spokesperson ay nagsasabi ng hindi totoo because sabi mo naman zero infrastructure.
Totoo naman. Ano ba? Sige nga, sabihin nga
Okay.
nila.
So,
ano ba yung na-accomplish ng previous administration?
Upon checking, sir, you have Abby Valte, the spokesperson of the Aquino administration. Ito po, it's coming from the official gazette.gov.ph. Aquino administration projects to be completed during the next administration. This is actually a
To be
copy of it. I
completed?
had it. No, sir. This is the copy. I had it printed out. No, meron pong for completion. Meron din pong mga completed. For example, the Tignon, Goa, San Jose, Lagonoy, Gihalo, Tourism Road.
Major projects?
July 2016. Well, these are just some of the projects that
mga
they
maliliit
had
na proyekto
listed
lang yan.
down. And meron pa pong September 26, Access Road,
Kung kukumpir mo,
Batangas.
walang ano, it pales in comparison sa mga major projects ng gobyerno.
When you talk about, I guess, what you're saying are big ticket projects, sir?
Yeah, of course.
But a lot of the projects also, rather airports, were initiated by the Aquino administration. Would you agree?
Hanggang ngayon, wala pa. Diba, inaayos nga ng administrasyon.
But ang sinabi niyo kasi zero infrastructure. Kaya sabi nila, that's not true. Would you care to change that, sir?
Figure of speech.
Now it's a figure of
Kung baga nag-i-exaggerate sila, o in-exaggerate ko rin ng konti. I'm just throwing their own words to them.
Okay, sir, I'm gonna move forward to this speaker term sharing. Matutuloy ho ba ito? Kasi we had Speaker Alan Cayetano
O hindi ba
there.
sinabi ko na nga at sinabi na nga ng Presidente, nasa sa kanila yun. Unang-una,
Hands off.
Unang-una,
Sir,
the
hands off
gentleman.
policy.
Teka muna, unang-una, hindi naman si Presidente nag-decide noon. Lumapit sila kay Presidente. Si Presidente naman, di gusto niyo mag-sharing na lang kayo. Pumayag naman sila. Nasa kanila pa rin yun eh. After all, sino bang nag-i-elect? Kundi sila rin. So, si Presidente kasi hindi nakikialam eh.
So, kaya nga, it's a hands-off policy, sir. Kahit na merong usapan
Unless they
15-21.
again go to him and seek his advice.
And in all likelihood, is that gonna happen,
I
sir?
do not know. I cannot read the minds of the,
Sa
of
palagay
the
ninyo?
lawmakers.
Because they did go to the President prior to this, right? Oh.
Siguro yun ang mali nila. Kung bakit kung kailangan sila pumunta sa Presidente, pwede naman sila mag-decide.
No, but Secretary, let's be frank. If the President says it's 15 to 21, yung term sharing, hindi ho ba, I'm asking hindi ho ba dapat nyong panindigan yon at ituloy yon?
Unang-una, hindi naman si Presidente nag-decide. Nag-suggest lang siya doon at tinanggap nila yung suggestion. So, sino ba nag-desisyon? Hindi sila rin. It's not the President.
Yes, but it was suggested by the President. Hence my
Because
question,
they asked
dapat
him.
bang ituloy?
Because they asked him. Di ba?
O sige, let me rephrase this. If they go on a vote at hindi po ituloy yung 15-21 term sharing, would the President be okay with that?
Ba sinabi niya, hindi ako makikialam. Obvious naman yung salita niya.
So, ibig sabihin, nasa mga
kanila
congressman
yun.
talaga.
Kasi ultimately, they will be the ones choosing it.
And either one of them, or even the other candidates in the past, sir, kasi remember before, halos 5 yung tatakbo ng Speaker of the House, okay si Presidente kahit
Alam mo, ultimately, ang barometro niyan, ang test niyan yung Kongreso, gawin niyo yung trabaho niyo kahit sino ang leader niyo dyan. Hindi mo importante kung sino ang leader, kung ano ang ginagawa ninyo bilang mga kinatawan ng inyong mga
Is the
distrito.
President happy so far? They passed the budget, sabi nga nila, and there's a survey that said about 62 or 64% are happy with the Speaker of the House. Yung po kasing sinasabi ng ilang allies ni Speaker Alan Cayetano.
Basta ma-approve mo yung budget, siyempre you're happy na maaga. Di ba?
What else does the President want Congress to prioritize, sir?
To do their work.
The budget. No, yes, what work? What
Aba,
kind-
kung ano yung urgent na sinertify niya, di dapat yun ang bigyan nila ng pansin.
We'll be taking another short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today is Secretary Salvador Panelo. During the break, I was asking him, for those watching us on Facebook, because the Secretary sends out text messages to members of the media, including myself, no? And I was asking kung ikaw talaga nagsusulat nun. For
course.
example, yung kay Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon.
Of course. Ginawa ko yun during dinner, kagabi.
And how long does it take you to respond to something like
Minutes.
that, write something like that? Ganun po kabilis.
Kasi naman, I've been there for the last 35 years, di ba? Having clients, controversial clients, you have to respond immediately.
Sir, I need to clarify what you said. Sabi
Figure
mo
of
kasi,
speech?
Oo.
Kasi gumamit siya ng dismal eh. O, di binalik ko sa kanya, o sige, zero accomplishment.
But who said that was a figure of speech from the Senate Minority Leader, sir?
Hindi, ako nagsasabi yung, kasi sabi nila, meron din naman kami, mga minor. Pero kung ikukumpara mo, sa inyo, zero.
Kaya nga,
Gumamit siya ng
yours,
dismal eh, para bang wala nang nagawa. O, di ginamitan ko rin sila ng zero accomplishment.
pero hindi zero, sir. To be clear.
Ay, kung yung malilit na bagay, hindi nga zero. Less zero.
No, sir, seriously. I mean, kidding aside, it's not
Hindi
zero,
nga.
right?
No, but kung ikukumpara mo kasi, malayong malayo. Malayong malayo.
But they did projects under the Aquino.
Na hindi natapos. Ngayon, tinatapos ang administrasyon.
Pero you
My point is, ang problema kasi sa inyo, naghahanap kayo ng mali.
sino naghahanap?
Edi yung mga kritiko, humanap kayo ng mabuti. Pareho rin ng media. Kasi sabi niya, dismal failure. Sinagot ko naman yon. Pero ang hinedin pa rin, dismal failure, pinakita ko naman na dami-daming projects. Dami nang nagawa.
Well, not just yourself, sir. Also, Vince Dizon, Secretary Vince Dizon, of course, he had a press conference yesterday in Malacanang talking about the flagship programs of the Duterte administration. I believe from 75, medyo umakyat pa ata ng 100. Emergency powers, before I forget, something Congressman Joey Salceda is wants to put forward.
I haven't asked the President about that. Ang alam ko lang yung sa traffic na ayaw niya.
Ayaw na niya yun. Yeah, clear na tayo doon. Pero ito kaya, sir, you don't know yet. It's something that
I
you
have
need
to ask the President.
Sir, what happened? On a last note with the President, you said that, you can clarify this, he was going to take 3 days off, tapos hindi naman daw. Ano ba nangyari? Please clarify that.
Cleaner ko na yun sa media. Nung una ko kasi sinabi, nung tatlo kami nag-uusap, sa wake yata.
Sino kayong tatlo, sir?
Presidente, saka si Bongo. Kasi tinanong ko, sabi ko, Mr. President, tuloy ba yung rest mo? Ang sumagot si Senator Bong. Sabi niya, mga Tuesday, mag-start ng rest, mga parang 2 or 3 days. Pero trabaho pa rin. Kaya yun ang sinabi ko sa media. Hindi ka ako certain yun, ha? Kaya magpa-file ba ng leave? Sabi ko, hindi certain kung ano. Depende lahat kay Presidente yun. Subject to change without prior notice. Wala niyo, yun naman talaga. Because, the President knows his body. Pareho natin. Alam natin kung kaya ba natin o hindi.
At alam natin kung kailangan magpahinga.
Kasi si Presidente, pag nandito, pareho natin. Kung nasa opisina talaga tayo, mahirap magpahinga after working kasi ang daming distraction. Pero kung sa bahay, medyo mas okay doon. But he continues to do his work.
So, he's in Davao,
Yes,
still
still
working. So, hindi natuloy yung 3 days. Tama ho ba?
Unang-una, wala
Kasi
naman 3 days.
nagtatrabaho
Parang
pa rin
ano lang yan, ka lang eh. Baka sakali, baka gano'n ang gagawin niya. Gaya kahapon, the whole time, nagtatrabaho siya. Paperwork. Dami niyang backlog eh, yun nga sabi niya.
Daming backlog.
Kasi,
He just
alam mo,
arrived from a trip, ha?
Pareho kami. Like, 2 biyahe. Alam mo, pag nagbiyahe ka, tatambakan ka talaga. Kasi ang dami sumusulat. You have to respond to all of them. Pagdating mo doon, oh my God. Aabot ka doon, alas 8, naghigip pa.
Yeah, so he needs to catch up on that.
He needs to read. Ang dami niya binabasa eh. Yan lang mga bawat departamento, ang hirap magbasa.
But he's okay. His health is okay?
If you say, okay, perfectly normal, it's not. Kasi, di ba, dami niyang nararamdaman.
Yeah.
Pero if you will look at him, like the wakes that he attended, 3.
Tatlo, sa Heritage, sir.
Abay, nagpaalam ako, iniwan ko siya on the 3rd. 2:00 na nandun pa siya.
I
Animated pa yung kanyang...
I think he stayed till 3 a.m. in one of the
Oh, kaya
weeks.
nga. 2:00 nga ako umalis nun eh.
Inunahan mo
On the
na.
3rd wake. On the 3rd wake na yun.
All right, we'd like to thank Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and of course, Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo. Sir, maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.